This is Billingham, a brand synonymous with quality and heritage within the photographic world. This year, they're celebrating a remarkable milestone, 50 years of craft and innovation. Join us as we take an exclusive behind-the-scenes tour of this iconic factory.
We are making our own tooling and our own jigs and our own holding for a lot of the work that we're doing. Okay. And a lot of it is designed here, all of it is designed here or at home on laptops. And then a lot of the machining is done here. And I'll talk a little bit more about what all this is. Okay. But we're also doing things like 3D printing. So this is all quite new things. This is holding work for stitching on some of our automatic machines, but all of it's done here. It's all designed here and engineered here and built here. So we're designing the products here. We are doing 3D CAD to draw the patterns. We're creating the tools that we need in 3D CAD. We're building some of the tools with CAM, and then we're using CAD/CAM manufacturer to actually build the products as well, and using handwork at the same time, and doing a lot of things ourselves. It does help us to control these things. Primarily, it helps us make better products. It makes us more efficient. It makes the company better. That means we can make better things tomorrow, and we can employ more people tomorrow, and they can come in and have a better, nicer place to work, and just keep generating the movement essentially of the business. And it gives us more control and more control over the decisions that we take.
Billingham creates all its own jigs and many of its own tools that are used to create templates, giving the company total control of their product development, from design and prototyping all the way through to finished product.
We're building holders for stitching. So not all of the work is done on here, but this is basically a jig that will hold our parts of leather and allow the machinery to stitch it.
To stitch it, okay.
So these are designed here. This idea was conceived, Dad figured out the way to build these and to hold the materials in the right way, to be offered to the machine so the machine can stitch them. So they're all designed here with a method. They're all machined here, built here, tested, engineered here. So if we're designing the panels and we're designing the tools and we're designing the jigs and tooling to make it, and when we design a panel, that panel is sent to our CAD/CAM machinery, we can make a change very, very rapidly in a bag. So we can alter a pattern and send the tool out, wait for that to come in, and be building our jigs and tooling. So within a week, and we can send the new patterns tomorrow to the machine, and it will start cutting out the new patterns today or tomorrow if we want to. And that adaptability, that's how we can make 3 of something or 10 of something or 1,000 of something very rapidly in the same, very close efficiencies. So big numbers and little numbers very close to each other.
And in terms of staff numbers, how many people do you have working in the factory?
There's probably 30, around 35 at the moment.
Okay.
Part and full-time.
Part and full-time.
Yeah, and there are different shifts. People come and people leave at different times. It depends on their availability. They tend to have a shift and stick with it rather than do flexi time.
Harry Billingham, one of the sons of founders Martin and Ross, is largely responsible for the design and materials that go into the creation of Billingham's products. He shows us around as we take a close-up look at how these iconic bags are made.
So this is the start of the stores, I suppose. Our loading bay is just behind here, so this is where goods come in.
All the goods, raw materials come in and get packed.
We source from all over the world. So we used to buy everything from Britain years and years ago, but the best components aren't just made in Britain. They're made all over the world. So they come from different places. So for instance, our brass comes from Korea. It's made in a cast in a family-run foundry in Korea. It's a big industrial business. They make absolutely beautiful things for us. And they ship beautiful products to us in nice ways. They fulfill our orders.
During COVID, did you get impacted in terms of your imports as well? Because obviously a lot of things, there wasn't much travel in terms of things being shipped.
Because we're in direct communication with a lot of retailers, it gives us a very fast ability to respond. and coupled with the fact that we keep stock of everything all the time, so we can make anything, and we can make 5 of something or 500 of something in any colour and combination.
At any given time, yeah.
Yeah, that really helped. The factory was closed down for quite a long time. I was here as the only staff member for most of that time. And we were still having some deliveries. We were doing some promotions on our website. There were still industry supplying, even though a lot of people weren't actually working. So things quietened down.
And when did they start to pick up, or have you seen that?
Yeah, we
change?
have seen things pick up.
Yeah.
As we were, I think it was our second lockdown here in the UK, China were starting to pick back up. So we were seeing sales from the Far East. And places like Korea, which we sell, we do well in, and we were seeing maybe not so much Europe, but America. Their markets were still quite open. There were parts in America that were wide open, and people were still going in and doing business. So we're lucky because for 50 years we have this international business.
Yeah.
As the world ebbs and flows, it does it in different ways, and that's an advantage for us because there's always a demand, or seems to be a demand somewhere.
Yeah.
One of the opposites, I suppose, is that growing output can be very difficult. It has to be done in a very slow and gradual way because you're training people. We've got to buy really high-end machines. They take 12 months to come in. We've got to train people to do different things in different ways, and so that can take a long time to do. But having good suppliers, having good materials, our studs are made in Japan. These come from a Japanese company that do great stuff for us. We get our thread from Germany. Labels are woven in Europe. All of our webbing is made in the UK. It's all woven in the UK for us.
Here we see stacks and stacks of raw materials that are sourced from some of the finest producers around the world.
So we've got leather, hides, and materials that have been woven and either waiting for us to be combined or have already been combined and can be used in production. So we've got 3 pallets of leather coming in. This is all from Spain. Most of our hides come from this tannery in Spain. So again, we're ordering in hides in like 3 colours. They come in 2 or 3 different thicknesses. It's all really, really nice vegetable tanned, top grain leather. We are processing them all ourselves. So somebody will take a hide and select a hide and use it in the way that they want it.
And what happens to sort of leather that doesn't make it? Do you use all the leather that you get?
Yeah, almost all of it. We've tried to sell it. People don't want the waste because we don't have enough of it. Okay. So when you're doing handbags or shoes, you have 2, like the tops of shoes, the pattern might be this big, sort of like that sort of size. And you've got 2 of them and they've got to be the same colour. So this bit of the hide might be a slightly different colour to this bit of the hide. And this bit is like nice and mottled because it's vegetable tan. So it changes over the hide and it changes throughout a batch.
Okay.
So if you're making shoes, if you can colour it all the same colour, then you can just cut out the 2 efficiently.
Next to each other, yeah.
If you can't, then you've got to cut a shoe out of here and then another shoe bit maybe out of here. Okay. Or if you're doing a handbag, you've got a piece like this and you might want this nice central bit because of the marks on it. So you'll cut that out. But you can't do anything with this and you can't do anything with that then. Okay. Whereas we've got all these little bits and pieces that we can cut out. Okay. So yeah, we are quite efficient with leather and we have to be. It's one of the most expensive materials that we have. Really, really thick leather is used for, like the straps. Thinner leather is used to go around corners. So sometimes when we're doing corner patches, you've got like multiple compound corners that bend and go into seams. So you need more supple leather. So people on the line will pick the different leather for the different jobs that they want, essentially. Okay. And that's how it works. So I was about to talk about the binding actually. So one of the things that we're doing, because the leather is vegetable tan and it changes colour, we have the binding that goes around the bag. So it has to be the same colour as the patches of leather that are on there. And if it's a slightly different shade, it looks very different. All of our tapes are stored here, loads of old material that we've got, things that we keep for samples.
And where do you get most of your material from?
All over the world.
All over the world, okay.
I mean, like this is Alcantara. So this is what they put in they make seats of Ferraris and the really nice headliners of the cars from. They make like sofas for yachts and stuff like that out of Alcantara. We've got a few colours of that. It's a really nice material to work with. We've done linings with it and stuff. It sheds a bit of fibre, so we can't use it for camera bags, but we have used it for some really nice lines, and we're going to use it more. We've got neons that we've done.
This
different
is the neon
backing
that
costs.
you had on yours.
Yeah, that was the orange one. There's a red one around somewhere. Different linings, different canvases, different colours, technical fabrics that we've developed.
These you've developed?
Yes.
Okay.
Foams that we're using. All of our foams are, it's all blown, as they call it in the UK, because it's not very good to ship it. So these are a really local supplier. These are almost down the road for us, basically. Yeah.
Moving further into the factory, we see that precision and attention to detail is paramount. Every seam, stitch, and component is carefully aligned and inspected, ensuring the final product upholds Billingham's long-standing reputation for quality.
So essentially, the materials are cut here. So there's a roll of fabric here. These two bars are down. The material is put over to a fixed length. This is a blade, it cuts it and then lifted up, clamps it. Another piece of material is put over, cuts it, another piece of, so you build up
a stack of...
Yeah, like a mattress, a stack exactly of fabric to a set width. And then it's brought onto our cutting machine. So this is new in this factory. So we've had this maybe 8 years, 7 years or 8 years now. Before this, we were using essentially like a cookie cutter tool. And some of the cutting
that had like a
tools,
stencil.
yeah, I'll go and get one. Wait there, I'll go and grab
That's
one
fine.
for you.
So this was the old
Yeah, it's sharp.
cutting.
So there's a blade all the way around here.
Oh, okay.
So we would design the shape and send this off. It would be bent and made to a pattern. And then you place it on the big press, comes down and goes chomp and chops it out, bang. You lift that out and then you have a stack of them made, and then you get the next tool. So if you want to change the design, you've got to get a new tool. Whereas here, we're drawing the patterns on CAD,
on this,
sending them as a group of patterns, and then they can assemble them and nest them into
and that's
into a space.
obviously saved a lot of time and made it a faster, almost faster process, I guess.
It is faster. It's faster to cut out. It's more accurate. So what happens is you're cutting into a sacrificial bed, like a resin bed, and that's so you get a shear force, and you can see some of the resin boards here that people hit like a cutting board, and eventually it gets all chewed up because you're pressing into it hundreds of times, and you get a new one. But if it gets stuck, you have to tap it out, and every time it gets stuck, you lift it up, it'll bend a little bit, and you'll start distorting gradually over the years. This will distort. Now, in the fashion and shoe industry, you use them for one season and then the tools are thrown out and you get new products next season. But we're making them for a long time, and then gradually the patterns change. So these patterns are the same as they were a year ago, 2 years ago. If we haven't changed them, they're exactly the same. So it's more accurate over a longer period of time. So we've got accuracy and precision. We can update them quicker, so we can change them today. And we could
tomorrow
do it.
It's uploaded.
Well, today they could like Matt could pause this now and put that in and start cutting a different pattern if we wanted to. If we wanted to move a drill hole or something, or make a drill hole slightly bigger, we can do that. We don't, but we can do. It does happen. But so this is a sacrificial bed of like stickle bricks. So you've got a knife that reciprocates backwards and forwards in here that turns round, and it cuts into this bed. And it's also improved the efficiency usage of the material. Because
you're not wasting.
It can like get parts really close together, much closer, and
because I guess with the CAD you can actually place them.
Well, it does it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be top stitched, and if it was the other way, it would like bend and curve as it went through the machine. The tension of the material would change the shape of the material as it goes through production. So we cut it along the roll, which is better. So there is two works orders here. One there, and Matt's going to build up. Some of this has already been made, and Matt's building up the works orders into a pile, which will be sent to the line. And it's sent to the back of the line, and then everybody here on the ancillary, as we call it ancillary, is taking, it'll either come from here, right here, or our production manager will actually say, actually, there's something else we need, make that first.
For a company that maintains such high standards, it's a very relaxed and friendly environment where workers happily get along with their tasks and take real pride in every step of the process. There's no overtime working. Everyone finishes early on Friday afternoons, and for some reason, there's so many pictures of Jason Momoa.
Can we see a buckle?
Yeah, Debbie sorry, Debbie,
Hello.
excuse us. There's no magic to it. It's having good machines, looking after them, using good needles, good threads, good brass, good webbing, making sure people have the right light to do it in the right way and do it properly to the right standard. Making sure that there's some way that if something goes wrong that they can fix it to the right standard. And if you keep all those things going well, you get good products out at the end of it.
And I mean, as a photographer myself, I know how important a good strap is. And to know that, it's solid and it's not going to go anywhere.
But you never want to think about it.
Yeah.
You never ever want to think about
it.
It's worrying that you know that you're thinking of, because you shouldn't have to think about it.
At all. Think
exactly,
about it.
Yeah. And this is how we can make that happen, really.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Thank you so much, Debbie.
At Billingham, people are at the heart of everything. There's a genuine family feel to the factory floor, so it's unsurprising to find that few people ever leave the company once they join, with some people having been there for over 25 years.
So Caroline's using a sacrificial bit of leather there, so that the foot, because it has to press down quite hard, and that bit of that leather is raised there. When we go around the top, it will put a machine mark in that bit of leather at the top.
Wow.
Wouldn't know it was Friday, Caroline. No pressure. I know I was going to say a thing. I wasn't going to say anything.
That is some beautiful stitching.
I should think so too. How long have you been here, Caroline?
38 years.
Bloody hell.
38 years. That's older than me. Wow. No, that's beautiful.
At the heart of their operation are skilled people, artisans honing their craft with care and dedication. Each bag is meticulously designed and crafted to perfection, reflecting their commitment to excellence.
So this is a sealed, there's a tub of glue inside there basically, and there's compressed air pushing it out.
Okay.
And then a really clever valve attached to the dispenser to...
Dispense just the right amount. Okay.
Yeah, like just tell you how many, 0.02 milliliters. So in that way...
Did your dad have any engineering background? Because a lot of, making the tools that are specific to...
I suppose not engineering, but not really engineering specifically, but there's a lot of engineering mind in the family, making things and being able to see how things work. And
I see.
I remember Dad taught himself how to use 2D CAD, AutoCAD, and I remember when I was really young, the boxes of the manuals being delivered home, because it was on. We've still got the floppy disks. It was 32 little floppy disks, and the manuals came in 7 boxes of these shelf things with great big. And he sat and just learned how to draw rather than hand draw them, computer draw them, and we've been using 3D CAD in the business for decades. And we're using robots, and we're always. It's not about making things in the traditional way. It's about making better things in a better way. And if that means we have to use a robot to do it or some sort of futuristic machine, then that's what we're going to do.
It's quickly adapting as well to tech and using tech to make your business better.
If it's better to do something by hand, then we'll do it by hand. And actually. Making jobs better and automating some things allows us to get that time and put it somewhere else for a hand operation that might be more valued. So leather paint's applied to the edge to finish them off. A lot of leather edging is done, we would call it overfinish, but it's not for those products. So a lot of leather products have real glossy beveled edges, and we've done that in some products, but to do that it's a multi-stage process. You have to sand down the edges, you have to apply filler and buff, and then undercoat and buff, drying cabinets and things. And our products have always been less finished than that. They've always been a little bit more...
have a rugged feel to them.
because they're not fashion items, they're tools.
They're functional bags.
Yeah, first and foremost, yeah. So sometimes we've done like special editions and like wallets and things that we've been working, like this is a Billingham wallet that we've been working on.
Okay.
And we're just finishing off edges nicely or differently. But that requires another set of tools and a different way of working. So very often when we're developing products, you're not designing new products, you're designing new features. Because to make this handle and to stitch all this together on an automatic machine, that's for one bag. But once you've built that construction, you figure out how to make it, you can put it on anything make it any size you like and just adjust it for a new product.
Even though people are critical to the production process, Billingham has introduced modern machinery, including some robotics, to the manufacturing line.
One of the things that we've been looking at is robotics and how co-working with robotics could actually help us here. So
because a lot of people usually fear that the minute you bring in robotics, you're replacing the human touch.
We are. Yeah, that's exactly what they're for. Yeah, yes, undeniably, that's exactly what you want to do. So, do you want to do that job where you have to wear rubber gloves and get your hand or paint? And do you want to do that job, or do you want to do the programming of the robot job, or the loading of the robot, or the unloading of the robot, or the quality? Like a human can do quality control better than a robot can, for us anyway at the moment. Wouldn't it be better if the robot did the dirty job with the glue? And then you had a human come in with a different skill. That works with the tools that you have. And do twice as much. And have a nicer job for them in a better place. So how do we use a robot? How does it work? Is it worthwhile for that job or that job? So we've got a robot in, and Natalie here is learning how to use it, learning how to program it.
And what's this robot supposed to do?
So this is gluing at the moment.
Hello.
Natalie said she wanted an interesting job, so we've given her
a nice challenge.
Learning the robot to do. Yeah. So when these are stitched, what we don't want is the thread coming undone. So we're applying a tiny little bit of super glue onto the back thread.
So it holds that thread down, yeah?
Yeah. So this is a vacuum bed. One of the great things about having waterproof material is that we can draw vacuums down on it. So the cutting table is a vacuum. This is a vacuum just pulling straight through MDF. So a few years ago, we had our skylights taken out and jet washed and cleaned. It made the factory so bright. And the result is that we have to put a canopy over because the computer eye needs the contrast with the light to see what it's doing.
For over 50 years, Billingham bags have graced the shoulders of photographers, professionals and enthusiasts alike, becoming a symbol of trust and reliability.
I see something familiar. I see an award.
So this has been filled up and emptied and filled up and emptied and filled up with whiskey since we've had it.
The award's working very well.
Oh, yeah. That's not for show. That's real whiskey.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, nice little
celebration.
Setup, I think that's where we started.
I feel like a different person from when I started.
I'm sorry.
No, in a good way, right? When I was looking here, it was just a factory, but it became a whole story, and it became people.
Yeah.
And the bag is not just a product; it's all these different experiences that it's gone through in the different parts.
Yeah.
And the thoughtfulness at each and every point of it. So it's definitely been I'm honestly like a different person from the person who started right here on the balcony, just overlooking a factory.
Yeah, it's, so many people come and they go, I didn't realise it'd be like this.
Yes.
And that's always nice, I suppose. There is a lot going on the whole. We're capable of doing things better than other people, so we do those things, and then other people can do it better, so they do those things for us. But there are a lot of different variations in things and tasks that need to be done, and completed. And it's all visible because it's all happening. We are doing it all. It's all happening here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can be. It's interesting. There's lots going on all the time.
Wow. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Here's to another 50 years of crafting memories, embracing creativity, and producing accessories that honor the amateur spirit of photography in its truest sense of the word, as passionate lovers of light.